Hey there, welcome back to the Luxury State of Mind podcast. And on this podcast, currently, we're actually doing a series called Courage, jumping off of the deep end, where I'm sharing different ways in which you can step into courage more into your daily life. Even if you don't know the results from the beginning or you don't know what's going to happen once you start, but being able to just step into what you believe is next for you, you're called to do, and all those things. So I'm basing this off of an experience where I had recently where I planned for a big event and it did not happen. And then I'm sharing all the lessons that I learned from that experience to help encourage you that even if you don't know, which we don't know from the beginning, what will happen at the end of our experience, that we should at least jump and take a leap of faith in whatever area that is. So we've been going on a couple weeks now. I think it's been about 5 weeks or so. This may be either the fifth or sixth week of this series. So if you've been listening, love you for listening to this series and joining me every week and just talking about how to leap more into courage. So on this episode, we're going to be discussing this concept that really helped me understand how life works, especially for the one who overthinks, the one who overanalyzes and analyzes and thinks again and thinks some more and thinks some more and thinks some more, but is still not seeing the results that they want to see. This episode is for you. And that is what we're going to call this is you can't think your way to clarity. And this really hits home for me because I would say, just like the many women that listen to this podcast, I would consider myself a very high achieving woman, very disciplined in whatever I'm doing. When I set my mind to do something, I know I can do it. I have the confidence to do it. However, in my nature, at times I have the ability to overthink about things and overanalyze and try to make sure that I have clarity before taking action. But what I have found in life is doing that does not lead to actual progress. You can think and think and think, but not end up taking action on anything, and therefore you've achieved nothing. And I know this to be true because for many years post college, I was thinking a lot. And I actually made a post on LinkedIn where I said that overthinking and basically not taking action is a form of bondage because you're not going to be able to see progress. You're not going to be able to go past the level that you are because you're just thinking and trying to believe in your mind. There is a thought in your mind that if I can just think it and think through it here, then it will come out in real life. But as you have found to this point, that is not the case. And sometimes our overanalyzing and overthinking is fear masking itself as responsibility. Oh, I'm just being responsible. Or, oh, I just, trying to make sure I cross all my I's, dot all my T's, all the things that we say. But in reality, it is just fear. And in order to grow, I have found, and in order to make progress, you cannot just think your way to clarity. It's not going to work out. What has to be done is you have to take quick and swift action, which is scary. It is, requires a sense of trust with yourself, to be able to follow through and just, you don't know what's going to happen because the unknown is scary. So the thought, you may even be cringing at this moment when I say you have to take swift action, but I'm telling you, that is how you can see progress. I know it to be true. I share it in that live, or in that post. And then I've also shared here how I stayed home for years thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking some more and thinking some more with little to no progress. But things changed this year. And I think that's what gave me the confidence to even try to do this event, and attempt such a thing, as doing this, big event for this organization and under my brand, all the things. But I want to give you an example of what taking swift action can actually lead to. So I may have shared this on the podcast before, but I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory of how we got here, especially, as a uh, as a brand. So I do the podcast Luxury State of Mind, but I'm also a public speaker. So I've been able to speak on different stages, either by getting on stages, getting on other people's platforms and speaking to their audience, and then also creating my own stages as well. So I've had the opportunity to do that, as well as, because of the swift action and things that I'm about to share, been able to partner with big brands to create unique experiences, luxury experiences that have experiential learning elements to them. So in this case, what ended up happening earlier this year, well, really it was last year, I had decided that I want to be a public speaker. I had made it very clear that this is something that I want to do. I felt I was called to do that. And I know a lot of you listening actually can relate to this. I meet a lot of you outside. I've been having a lot of conversations, and I keep meeting women who are skilled in their communication, whether that's speaking or writing, but I've been meeting a lot of potential speakers, brand girlies, and all these things. And they know that there's something there, but it's like, how do you go about that? Especially, this is for the girl who has a corporate job as well. How do you go about it? So, this was the predicament I was in. I wanted to be a speaker. I knew that's what I wanted to do. Now, I had been pitching since last year to be on talks. And, I had created a website, had done everything, but I wasn't necessarily getting speaking engagements. So I decided, through the advice actually of a person that I met at a networking event who is involved in the speaking space, he had suggested that, why don't you create your own stage? And that was the seed that was planted in my mind. And one thing that I've found about life is, especially when you want to see progress or you want to move forward towards what you want, when you have made an intention, meaning like, I'm deciding that this is something that I want to do. I am going to do this. You know, that determination that you have, like, I am going to do this, right? It seems as if when you've made that choice in your mind, there are opportunities that will start to show. Something that I actually learned this week that I feel like gives such great language to how you can create opportunities is, you don't see opportunities with your eyes, you see them with your mind. There are things in front of us that we don't see as opportunities with our natural eye. But as we make decisions and decide what we're going to do, our mind is able to create new opportunities, or to see things that looked normal before as now opportunities. I had some friends randomly, after I had gone to this event, or may have even been before or after, I can't really remember, but they basically created an event for me, right? And I was like, "Whoa, like, who does that? What do you, like, who gets together and creates an event for somebody?" Well, clearly, I took this as God was really, like, trying to tell me, like, "Hey, I want you to do something. Like, what you were thinking was correct. I want you to be in these spaces, or I want you to start speaking. Here's an idea." If my mind was closed off to it, or if I was overthinking and overanalyzing, I wouldn't have seen it as an opportunity. But thankfully, training myself to see things as opportunities. So basically, for about 2 months, I had actually been telling people that I'm going to have an event by the end of Q1. So before I had anything physical in my hand, before I had any plan, I just had the idea, but I didn't have a plan. I was telling people what I was going to do. And I did this because I wanted people to, for one, hold me accountable. I didn't want to be embarrassed in front of people. I didn't want to say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it. So it was a way of holding me accountable. And two, there's something about when you tell people what you want to do or what you're determined to do, they will be more than willing to help you. So people were in just wanting to help, just trying to either send me like photographers, videographers, and all these things. So as I am determined to do this event, I and I believe I may have shared this on a previous podcast. I don't want to share all the details to make it extra long, but I had run into different issues in regards to trying to put the event on. So I still had the idea that I'm going to host this event by the end of Q1. And I was running into, normal things, such as things were too expensive. I had actually to help put my like to put skin in the game, not just to have it as an idea, but to really put something behind it. I had actually saved a large sum of money to put towards the event. I knew if I had put that money to the side and it was specifically for this reason, that I would take this seriously. So I think knowing yourself too is very important. So I'm looking for places. And what's interesting, I can't even say I was looking at first. Let me backtrack. I was going to work with a specific location based off of what my friends had shared as an idea. I was going to work with that specific location. They had two requirements, only, 8 to 10 people. There's no extra fee if I have just those 8 to 10 people, but if they have to go out of this, their office space, then I'm gonna have to have 25 people show up and there's gonna have to be a larger fee. And based off of my past experiences or past I wouldn't even say mishaps, but just what happens when you start, the resistance that you get when you start something new, right? People don't show up. People promise they're going to come, they don't come. You have an expectation that this is going to work out, and it may not work out in the way that you thought, right? I used to host events back in the day. If you were a part of the planter community back then, you would know that I used to host events in Florida on a monthly basis. And at times, a lot of people weren't showing up. And I didn't think that people would actually show up to this event. And I remember telling my friend that, hey, if you think I'm thinking too small, let me know. Just let me know. And I will like adjust. This is just how I'm feeling. This is how I'm thinking. And she decided to keep moving forward. She didn't even acknowledge like oh, I only want to keep it to 8 people. I only want to keep it small. She just kept thinking bigger and bigger. And if I'm honest with you, it was really frustrating. It was very frustrating because I looked at what I had in my hand. I thought I only have a small amount of money to do this event. I have fear, like who's going to actually show up? What are, like what's going to happen? So I felt that the ask or what was being asked of me was way more than what I had readily available for myself. And I was upset with God because I really felt like, are you playing me? Like, why are you asking me to do this event, but I don't have the resources to do it. Little did I know that you may think you don't have enough. What you see with your physical eyes is not what you would deem enough. But the what I have found, and that has and this has actually been replaying over and over for me, and I've been using these same principles throughout the year, is that as long as you set the intention that this is what you're going to do, you will find that there's actually more than enough and that there are resources and access to things that you don't even know there's access to or that's available to you. So, what did that look like in me moving forward with this idea, right? I'm not just thinking in my mind, I want to have an event. Now I'm taking it in my hands and running with it. Well, there was a word that was spoken in my mind, not necessarily like I heard it physically, but it was just a thought that came to my mind to scout the land. So I decided to, and that reference is to when the Israelites went out into the land of Canaan and they scouted the land. They looked at the land before, and giving a report back to the people of Israel. So I knew that verse, and I knew when I heard that or when I perceived that in my spirit, I should say, that, okay, this is what it means. So I started, and this is what it means. Like, if you want to start seeing progress, you have to act. I started putting my feet to the pavement, if you'd say. That looked like, okay, you know what? Like when me and my friend sat down, we looked at different venues because again, she was pushing me to think bigger. So I decided to actually go to at least one of the venues that we looked at. And because I went, that gave me the courage to be able to go to another place and then another place and then another place. And then it went from like, oh, I was kind of going to like smaller places to like luxury spaces. And not only that, I was starting to believe that I belong in those spaces. So lo and behold, I'm still coming up short, if you will, in regards to either, the price is too much, it's really fast, the timing is coming up, all these things. Because my friends were challenging me, hey, have it for the Valentine's Day or around Valentine's. So what ended up happening, and this is what I mean, where you mean that you don't actually know what is out there. You don't know what resources may be available to you. You don't know what God has for you, but is required of you is faith. I started, doing a series for the podcast earlier this year. I wanted to take a break, right? After I had done recorded a series, a full day of content creation, I decided I want to go to the mall. And I walked around the mall, and then I walked past a store that I had actually went in before, like 2 months ago, and had talked with one of the sales agents there, had a great conversation, just really connected on a human level, right? And I had a moment of, like, I don't know, like, should I go in? I don't wanna feel like a weirdo. That was what I said to myself. I don't know if I should go in. I don't wanna feel like a weirdo. And in that moment, it was really like, this moment could have changed everything. If I had believed such a silly thought, because really what sense does that make? But that's a thought that came to my mind at a pivotal moment. If I had followed through with that, I may have lost out on this opportunity, but thankfully God had other plans. I step into the store. I see the girl that I spoke to 2 months ago, and she immediately connects me with her manager. And in connecting me with her manager is asking, what do I do? All this stuff. So and this is the thing, having built the brand already and continuing to build it through the podcast, through having content, all those things, it had credibility. And she literally told me in that moment, what day do you want to do this event? Like, whatever day works for you is fine. And I was shocked. Like, it almost felt too easy, and something that I had struggled with in the past, which I didn't realize, was I would think things that are too easy are not worth it. I could have easily, because I've, struggling, overthinking all those things, I could have easily said, "Oh, no, 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 this is not it, like, it shouldn't be this easy. I should be running around town," right? It sounds crazy, but if you know, you know. And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, like, whatever day works for you, like, let's do it." And the original plans that I had to have this event, the original vision that I had was quickly shifted to something new. And I had to get with a program. Either I choose and I get with the program, or I choose to step into the unknown of working with this brand. And I'm so grateful, through great wisdom that was given to me immediately, through having a conversation with somebody, I decided to move forward with them. And that actually started my speaking career, and I got to work with a luxury perfume brand, Jo Malone London. Shout out to them for their amazing support and helping me to launch what it was that I wanted to do. And what came out of that was multiple speaking engagements, opportunity to work with another brand, and even still, there's still so much more that is for or waiting for the Luxury State of Mind brand. But that was one of the first ways. There were more that happened in the previous year, but that showed me a blueprint of principles. And it showed me that you cannot think your way to clarity. I am meeting so many of you who are working in your careers. You may be, I mean, at the top. I'm meeting people who are director levels, who have been in their industry for 10 years, that are doing great things. They know their stuff, but there is more outside of what they're doing in the confines of their corporate role. And they're hoping that somebody can give them a blueprint of how to walk in their purpose, walk in this thing that is like beating in their heart to do, and work at the same time. Some of us are even hoping that, what, I can actually leave my corporate role and go to what it is that I feel I want to do. And they're looking for a blueprint of how. Now, I have found, I've been in this, I would say, online space for quite a while. Everybody has their blueprint of, this is how I did it. This is how you should do it too. I would say there is not necessarily a clear 100% blueprint to follow to the T, but there are principles that you can adopt that will help you on your journey. And with those principles, you can get guidance from other people to be able to do it. But it's all about, and I have found that the reason we're struggling to take action, even if we have that corporate role and there's something else that we want to do, I have found that it's because we are trying to think our way to clarity. And after the years I struggled in being in that space of overthinking, I know now that in order to start seeing progress, you have to set an intention. You must choose within yourself that this is what I'm going to do. And through that, your mind is able to now see what was invisible to you before is now, it now can perceive it as opportunity because within yourself first, you made a choice. From there, you are able to walk, move, take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just take some kind of action. And what's beautiful about life is as people see you taking action, as they see you building when nobody's looking, there is a day and a time where people want to support you on that journey. I mean, everything was provided for me in this whole event, down to the photographer, videographer that I needed. Literally, I had met her 2 months prior. Who would have thought that we would have worked together and she would help kickstart my speaking career? Or talk less of, the person that helped me to promote the event was right within my circle. If I was still trying to think my way to clarity, I could have never seen that the resources that I need are all around me. I've said it before on this podcast that Mignon Francois, who I love so much, she says that all you have is all you need. And I really take that seriously, that everything that I need has already been given to me. It's not about can I see it with my eyes? It's a matter of can my mind perceive it? And the mind, I have found, perceives it when you choose this is what you want to do. When you've made a choice and you walk step by step into what it is, with whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just take steps. From a girl who stayed at home for over 4 years and felt like she wasn't going anywhere in life, to now being able to create opportunities from a personal brand, to get on stages, to connect with people worldwide, and continue to further the Luxury State of Mind mission to not only here, but in other countries as well. It has started from setting an intention and moving forward and not thinking my way to clarity. So I hope that this helps you. I really hope that you will take this and listen in that you cannot overanalyze your way to clarity. It's not going to work. You are going to be in the same place next year and the year after that. Take action, even if your legs are wobbling, even if your heart is trembling, just move. So I pray this encourages you. Put in the comments if there was anything that was said to you that resonated. I would love to know. You can share in the comments and also share, what kind of leaps of courage are you taking? What kind of things are you doing right now that are helping you to move forward to what it is that you want to see? As I said before, you can't tell from the beginning what's going to happen at the end, but all you can do is set your intention for where you want to go, and that will help you to be more courageous in every step that you take. So, we will speak again next week on this series, Courage Jumping into the Deep End. If you're loving the content, leave a comment, share it with a friend. And just something that I want to put out there, as I have grown into building this brand, into building Luxury State of Mind, creating opportunities for myself, partnering with brands, just being a presence online, I feel that I want to help more women do the same. I'm meeting so many of you that feel called to either speaking or communications or something that allows your voice to be heard. And I would love to help you to build that personal brand so you can start creating opportunities that really align with what you feel you're called to do. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can leave that in the comments, put brand, and I will reach out to you directly and we will have a conversation about what it could look like for me to help you build your personal brand. All right. So I will speak to you on the next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, however you're listening, and I will speak to you on the next one. Bye.